Hi, and welcome to this intentional flow practice. What exactly does that mean? Don't we always want to move with intention? Well, the answer is, of course, yes. But this practice is one that I love to reach for personally, and I think you will too. Anytime I'm really needing to check in with myself and check in with my body. So the idea behind the practice is just to move slow, connect with the breath, and use it as an opportunity to kind of explore where you're at without forcing the body in any way and without having really any expectation upon the body. So we're going to begin in a nice, comfortable seated position. Root down through your sits bones. You can grow up nice and tall through the crown of the head. We're going to close down through the eyes and just take a moment to check in with ourselves. Right here. Just notice just how your body's feeling seated. You can maybe notice what's happening for you mentally if there's a lot going on in the mind. And then also just taking time to check in with our heart space, our emotional body. Just really acknowledging and noticing how we're feeling right now without any judgment at all. And if you know there's something you're really needing to shift, you could set an intention at the beginning of practice to allow that to shift for you. Or you can just simply go in to this practice with a really open mind and exploratory type of attitude. So we're going to start to find some really gentle movement in the torso. So this might look like a little bit of swing, side to side, maybe front to back. I usually like to get into a little bit of rotation here too, just starting at the base of the spine and then exploring what's happening. Be a good way to check in physically with our chakras or energy centers too, to pay attention to how we're feeling in the lower part of the body and how we feel as we get further up the spine. And let's just use that breath as a tool now and throughout our practice. And as we move through our practice today, I want you to be really cautious of not sitting in judgment. Just see if you can observe the body, observe the mind, observe the emotions without feeling the need to judge it in any way. Just a really honest check-in with where we're at, moving with compassion and acceptance and love. And back through center, let's get a little bit into the neck here. Gentle movements, rocking and swaying. So I find this practice really useful when I'm feeling a little bit disconnected from myself. I'm starting to feel sick, I'm feeling stressed or anxious or overwhelmed. And just, I use it as just a chance to ground back into my body. Just to take the time to check in and notice. See if there's anything I need. And a lot of times it's observing that we're holding a lot of tension that we maybe don't need to hold on to. Good. So as we're moving, we can also give ourselves permission to let go of anything we don't need. And just back through center, use our breath. Let's start to get into these shoulders a little bit. We're going to roll them both together, one at a time. So many of us walk around with a lot of tension through the neck and upper back and shoulders. We're stressed sometimes like just to sit. Sometimes this is our own stress, and sometimes this is stress of others that we pick up. So we don't need to get too deep into our heads analyzing it, but maybe just take note of it. We're holding a lot of tension there that's actually not even ours to hold. But either way, just allow yourself to shift and let go. Let the body feel a little bit more free, a little bit more clear. Good. We're going to bring soles of feet together. And heels can be just a comfortable distance from the body. Whatever feels good for you. We're going to start to move into some seated cat-cow here. So as we inhale, we think about pulling the belly forward, opening up through the chest, through the throat. Just noticing expansion through the front body. And as we exhale, let's rock that weight back, rounding through, chin to chest, forehead heavy. Just feeling that opening through the back body. So inhale, open front body. And exhale, open back body. And just a couple more times through here. So there's no need to force the movement or push the body in any way. Again, we're just really thinking about this movement as an opportunity to check in with ourselves and explore how we're doing right now. And back through center. We'll bring those knees together and start to transition over towards a hands and knees position. And spreading those fingers wide as long as our wrists feel okay. Remember, we can always slip onto our fists if we want a little bit more support there. Just really grounding the hands into the mat space. Having those hips right the hips right over the knees. Let's begin to move through some full cat-cow here. So again, don't force this movement, rather just feeling into the body. Moving with compassion and love. Back through a nice neutral spine. Let's walk those knees out a little wider than the hips as we bring the toes in together, sitting our hips back to heels, and let's melt down into a child's pose. I want to make sure that the head and neck feel really supported here, so feel free to place a prop. And we can even stack our palms or fists. You can just send the breath into the back body, into the side body. And really feeling into the hips, notice what's happening for you. You can be still here. If you feel the need to wiggle and shift and move a little bit, then know that that's okay. Gently walk those fingertips over to the left edge of the mat, just feeling a little opening through the right side body. And back through center, let's walk those hands over to the right side of the mat. And nice and open through the left side body. Back through center, let's draw ourselves back, forward. 4-point kneeling, bring those knees back under the hips. And then maybe to walk our hands out in front of us. And pull forward to a plank, either from knees or toes. Just whatever you need today. Hug those elbows in nice and close, and we're going to lower all the way down to mat space. As we inhale, we're going to press, opening into a nice, gentle cobra. And exhale, release. And just flow here a couple of times. And release. And the next time we lift here, let's slide the hands out in front of us, grounding down into the elbows and the forearms, finding our Sphinx position. So, theme of the practice today is not forcing the position. So if we need to move those hands out a little further in front of us, or even a little bit wider, then please do. And we can either stay nice and open through the throat and chest here, or you can drop chin to chest, find a little opening through the back of the neck. Or I sometimes like to just find some really gentle movement in the neck. So just acknowledging any tension or anything feeling stuck or sticky. We're trying not to judge it. But just simply by acknowledging it and using our breath, we can begin to shift. And as we gently release down, let's bring the elbows nice and wide, stacking palms, resting forehead to back of hands. And then bend the knees, begin to wag those feet side to side. Releasing tops of feet to mat space. Let's bring the hands under the shoulders as we begin to press ourselves up. Either into a 4-point kneeling position, or we can tuck those toes, send those hips up and back into down dog. So wherever you are, just giving yourself a little freedom to explore this position. In down dog, I like to pedal out through the feet one at a time. So maybe noticing any difference between the right leg and the left leg. Also like to take a deep knee bend and think about kind of pulling the chest through the shoulders, just really feeling into the upper back there. As we begin to soften into the knees for our down dog, taking our gaze forward, and then begin to step feet up towards the hands, or walking those hands back towards the feet. So we'll arrive in a forward fold position. I'm going to encourage a nice bend in the knees here, so no need to have big straight legs. Just let the chin pull the chest, crown ahead, hang heavy. You may even want to reach for some elbows here. Find a little ragdoll shape. And then just noticing what's happening for you in your body here today. And now we're slowly going to rise, stepping one vertebra at a time. As we roll up into our mountain shape. So feeling as much of our feet as we can into our mat space, maybe even spreading the toes, rooting in. And then taking that energy up through the legs. Gently up through the torso, through the spine, up through the crown of the head. We can pull those shoulders gently down the back. Palms open to the front of our space. And just breathe here. Notice how your body's feeling. You can maybe even become aware of where your center is today. Notice how our balance feels. We can notice if we're feeling kind of heavy in the lower part of the body, or maybe we're feeling kind of heavier in the top part of the body. And then we can also begin to invite more alignment in. So I like to think about pulling everything, my awareness, everything in towards midline. Just drawing everything more into alignment. And then we're just going to check in with our balance a little bit here. So we're going to explore a tree shape. You can take all the weight into your right leg. Start by finding the toe tip of the left foot. Breathe. And maybe stepping that foot in. Breathe. So I'll encourage you to go nice and slow here. Don't be in a rush. And then maybe opening that hip. And so keeping a nice soft bend in our standing leg. Maybe we begin to explore sliding that left foot up the right leg. We're just going to avoid resting the heel at the knee joint, so either below or above. Using our breath as an anchor. And also feel free to explore arm position. So maybe bring your arms out to side, heart center, reaching, just really let your body move any way you need it to or want it to today. And again, that reminder just to let go of expectation. Just allowing your practice to be whatever it is. And gently we're going to start to release that foot down, back into our mountain. Let's find our breath. Let's explore our balance on our second side. So it's going to come into your left leg, toe tip of right. A little bit of softness in that standing leg. And we can step that foot in maybe. Maybe opening. And then optional if we want to begin to slide that foot up the leg. And remember not to force the body, just really meeting yourself where you're at. Then again, we can explore different arm variations. And we're going to exit it the same way we came in, so nice and slow and controlled. Releasing that foot down, finding our mountain, find our breath. Just bringing awareness once again kind of to your center. Noticing that as we practice balance, generally we'll feel a little bit more grounded, a little bit more aligned. And this works for the physical body, but also the mental, emotional body. So like I said, I like to reach for this practice when I'm maybe feeling a little disconnected from myself. And a lot of times that could be when we're being super influenced by what's happening around us. So just by practicing physical balance, we're inviting more alignment into our whole being. So it can really help if we're feeling mentally distracted or our emotions are feeling all over the place. Just try a tree pose. It's pretty effective. Alright, so as we inhale, we're going to reach our fingertips up overhead. Exhale, let's just connect the palms, drawing them down through center of heart space. We'll move through that a couple more times. So inhaling to reach, lift, lengthen. And exhale, drawing down. One more here. And release. Good. Coming up to the top edge of our mat space. Inhale, we're going to reach, lift, lengthen. And exhale, we're going to find a fold. A little halfway lift on our inhale. Fold on our exhale. Take the weight into the left foot, big step back with the right. We're going to lower down and find a low lunge. Feel free to use props here under the hands if that's something that would feel supportive for you. And again, just kind of checking in with those hips, stillness, or a little bit of rocking swing. So we can really store stress anywhere in our bodies. What I find most people I work with either tend to store a lot or most in the shoulders, upper back area, or in our hips. Sometimes both.
Let's just notice what's happening on those hips. And we're gonna step back, either to 4-point kneeling or down dog. Let's take a breath here. And then we're gonna step that right foot forward, so we're gonna reverse that lunge position. Again, fingertips to mat space, or you can feel free to use blocks or anything else you have at home for props. And then beginning to step back, either 4-point kneeling or down dog. Again, whatever feels good for you. And we're gonna, from here, sit the hips right back to the heels. Knees about hip distance apart, and just begin to round down into a little rock pose. So hands can come alongside the body, or we can stack the palms or stack the fists. So again, same thing with child's poses, we just want the neck to feel supported. And gently beginning to round up as we sit back to our heels, and lengthen the spine, take a breath here. Beginning to roll to one hip, we'll come through seated, and then we're going to find ourselves all the way down onto our backs. Good, as we arrive to our backs, you can either leave the feet rooted into the mat space, or maybe stretch the legs long, bringing arms up overhead as well, just feeling length through the whole body. This position can feel so good if you spend a lot of time seated during the day, or a lot of time standing. Gently beginning to bring our heels in towards our body. We're going to ground down into the soles of the feet, arms alongside of us. Lifting to our hips, we're going to just send them an inch or two off to the left, and then allow those knees to fall over to the right. If it feels okay, we can stretch the left arm out away from us. Just finding a nice gentle twist here. And back through center, square through the hips, find your breath. And begin to lift those hips, sending them off to the right. Let's let the knees fall over to the left. Just maybe stretch that right arm out away from you. Nice, gentle twist. Maybe get your tummy rumbling a little bit. I always find twist kind of stimulate my digestive system, I guess. So if you're feeling that, you know you're not alone. And back through center, let's square through those hips, take a breath. And then we can just bring the knees in towards the chest, finding hold behind the knees or front of the shins. And then just find some nice gentle movement here. And as you feel ready, releasing those feet back down to mat space. And then just begin to guide your body to whatever's going to be your final resting position today. And I know sometimes, especially for a short amount of time, it can feel tempting to skip our Shavasana, or sometimes a little bit more challenging to drop into our Shavasana if we're at home and there's more distractions, but really encourage you to give yourself this time. This pause at the end of our practice is just a really powerful way for our bodies and minds and hearts to be able to integrate all of the amazing benefits of our practice today. And also allows us just to drop into that space that we've created. So allowing the body to rest heavy into the mat. You can feel you're needing more time in Shavasana, then I encourage you to take that time. If you're ready to awaken, or when you're ready to awaken, just coming back to your body and your mat, slowly and gently. Give yourself permission to leave behind anything that is no longer serving you, anything you no longer need to carry. Let yourself come out of your practice feeling lighter and freer and clearer. And energized and ready to take on your day.